Hello everyone and good evening as you join us here at Voice of America Park in Westchester Township for the Great Lakes Regional Championship final game. We had our finals earlier. Creighton defeated Michigan in a surprisingly clean fashion, and by clean I mean a lot of scoring. Here we have the final game for the final bid. Illini versus Marquette. It has been a long weekend for both of these teams. This will now be their 9th game of the weekend. Herculean effort by both teams. I commend them for making it this far and still being willing to fight for that bid to get their tickets to U.S. Quidditch Cup next April in Salt Lake City. I'm Matt Dwyer. I'll be your commentator for this game as we decide who will be the final Great Lakes region bid, surprisingly by two not Great Lakes teams. Both from the Midwest. Our head referee, Michael Clark Polner, getting the starting cadence getting going. Illini in the split jersey white-orange, attacking left to right. Marquette in the baby blue with striping, attacking right to left.
He's a rare driver that actually doesn't have to.
And we have brooms up for the final bid to U.S. Quidditch Cup here at Great Lakes Regional Championship, as Marquette will start with the ball, bringing it up slowly. And keeper will keep bringing it up center. That's number 61 as he drives in a couple spin moves and an easy goal through the top hoop.
61 is Marquette's strongest scorer, I think.
Nick Howard, yes, we've been seeing him a lot today. And it looks like the Illini will be bringing it up slowly up midfield, as they do have bludger control. That is number 64, Rogers, leading the beater corps for the Illini, as they'll drive in center, and that mid-range shot is good. That's number 4, Hamza. Pardon me, that's O'Donnell. So now 10-all, as the sun has gone down and it has gotten very chilly. I don't envy these players being out on the pitch here. I'm under several layers underneath a tent.
At least it's 10 degrees warmer than it was at the last game last night.
And yet here we are shivering as Howard drives forward, spin move, seems to get out of a beat.
Ow.
And good goal perhaps, we will see. It looked like he might have been beat on that play, but it's hard to tell from our angle. Our referees will conference and we will see. Let's take a look at how Marquette got to this point. Yesterday in pool play, early loss to Miami, 115-60. Defeated Pitt, who ended up getting a bid, 140-125. Defeated Rochester, 175-130, and then lost to Columbia, 165-140. So Marquette seems to take close games, at least in pool play. Looking onward to today, they came in as the 10 seed, losing to Michigan State 145-70, defeating Columbia after their loss yesterday 120-80, defeating Ball State 170-80 in a strong fashion, and then ultimately losing to Penn State 150-60 to put them in this match. And it looks like that goal was good as Illini received the ball again. That is 20-10 in favor of Marquette. So Illini will now bring it up, looking center. Quaffle behind Rogers. And that's Romaine with the Quaffle, probing right side, getting in close. Marquette patient to engage. Looks like a beater tackle, trying to get Marquette's beaters out of the play. Shot low, gets it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell backhands it and handled by Marquette. It was a good second effort by O'Donnell, but it wasn't there. Illini maintaining budget control. Marquette will bring it up forward again. Little handoff there. Number 19 driving in, tries to flip it over the top. Finds his chaser. Can she score it? And it looks like there's a foul on the play. That was Tosto. So we'll see what the call is here as there's a stoppage. Michael Clark Polner, not necessarily known for being a short-winded referee, but he is thorough.
I was about to say, very knowledgeable.
Very thorough. So it looks like no foul on the play, and the Quaffle are... Oh, there was. So it looks like neck contact from Illini, but that goal was good. So the penalty time is negated by the goal. And now Illini, with few defenders back, might go on a run with it. We'll see what Romain decides to do here. And he's going to go for it. Streaking up the field, one defender to beat. It's Tusto, two defenders, and Romain running the far side and scoring. Great hustle there.
Thank you.
30-20. Howard once again bringing it up center. Illini maintaining bludger control. Of the games that I've seen of Illini, they've done quite a lot to maintain bludger control, but it hasn't always worked out in their favor. The beating core is pretty strong, though. And Howard muscling through the left side, and he puts it through the small hoop. And that's another score for Marquette, 40-20. And Romain will hand it off to O'Donnell. O'Donnell coming down the left side. He's got protection from Rogers. O'Donnell cuts center. Passes it in the middle. Blocked at the hoops. Howard got big. O'Donnell recovers again, gets beat. And Tosto tries to get the handle, misses it, and now the keeper sub picks it up, but it looks like that was a turnover after the beat, so Howard gets the ball back. So a quick offense that unfortunately they lost the handle in the middle there. Illini couldn't convert, and Marquette will get another shot as Illini puts high pressure, and a great tackle there by O'Donnell as the keeper picks it up. He's running down the field, no one to beat. Scores, just barely. Fast defender coming in from the left side. Had the wherewithal. That's Unakitan. .40-30. So looks like Howard's taken a sub now, and Marquette has given the ball to another chaser. Quasagro is center. Quasagro looks for the handoff and immediately gets beat, and O'Donnell's going to run with it. O'Donnell, one beater to beat, passes center, and score! And that was once again Unakitan. So a good high beat there, and the Illini are relying on those beaters for the defensive stand. It looks like Marquette is pretty much able to get around the physicality of the Illini Chasers so far, but the beaters have been creating turnovers and chances for them to make these fast breaks. We'll see if that continues and if they will keep that strategy going. Quasagro on the right side, now driving center, and bounces it through, just barely making it through that top hoop. 50-40 Marquette. Unakitan. Illini maintaining bludger control for the majority of this game. He's guarded by Quasagro. And they're trying to create some beater disruption, although It looks like that Marquette beater wasn't dismounting. We'll see if that's the call. Beat him a solid 3 times in a row.
Don't you know you had to be beat 4 times before you dismount?
Silly me.
That was one of the changes we made in October. I'm just kidding. If you're beat once, you should dismount the first time.
So we'll see how that does for them here after the referee conference. Looks like that is Morrison for Marquette. It's been a strong weekend for Quidditch here in the Great Lakes. I've enjoyed watching a lot of these teams. It's good to have college Quidditch back.
Oh, it's wonderful. I missed it so much.
See a lot of young talent, a lot of new players that we haven't seen a lot of, either because they started playing just before the pandemic or even joined during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I know several teams, including Bowling Green State University and Columbia, had a lot of new players.
I think
the
Columbia
vast
had
majority of their
19
team.
recruits or something.
I think that's what Melanie was telling me.
Just intense.
And they did well today.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, really.
They did not walk away with a bid, but they still have a chance to go for at-large, and I think that could work out nicely for them, especially if they continue improving. Remember, the season is not over yet. These teams can still play. There's a chance to qualify and go to U.S. Quidditch Cup, which is the best thing going to U.S. Quidditch Cup. Miss Nationals so much. Maybe a little bit more than college Quidditch, because you get all of the college Quidditch at Nationals.
Nationals is a special time, a special place. If you ever find yourself the chance to go, I highly, highly recommend it. So it looks like that was a beater foul on Morrison. So illegal procedure, official call, not dismounting after knockout. So he'll take some time in the box. I believe that's our second card of the game. First penalty time served. And Marquette will play with a down beater as Illini are on the offensive now. Romaine in at chaser on the far side. It's taking them quite a long time to restart. All right, here we go. And now Romaine looking at that far side. He's taking his space. Quasagro passes back up top. It's the keeper. Keeper jukes.
Oh, wow!
And scores. That's Unakitan again.
That was a fantastic fake-out misdirection. Wow. Maybe it wasn't misdirection. Maybe actually meant to drop it in it, but it looked like misdirection to me.
Quasagro bringing it up center. It's 50-all here for our final bid. Illini holding on to bludger control. Marquette back at full strength after the goal. Looking to throw. The shot goes wide to the outside of the hoop as Marquette tries to do the follow-up, but blocked by Romaine at the point. So pass off to Unakitan. And Illini maintaining bludger control. Illini looking to the far side of the field. Has beater protection. Patient defense by Marquette, patient offense by Illini. Passes off to center. Unakitani's going to drive in, flips it, and it's a good goal. Almost to beat, but manages to avoid it. And he flips it underneath to number 55. That's Bocaria. So Bocaria with the goal there. And Illini will take their first lead of the game, 60-50. It's anyone's game so far. And the beaters seem to be doing a lot of work here, both sides of the ball for Illini. Big floater pass, the beat. It was connected, it looked like they missed there. And now Unakitan on a run. He's got the keeper to beat. And now he switches direction, keeper overruns him. Unakitan, he's shifty, scores!
What amazing amazing positioning. Just found a lane. It didn't work. Found another lane. Incredibly determined by Utana right there. Wow.
And that's it. Number 81 at keeper there. Unfortunately for Marquette, wasn't able to keep track of the shifty feet of Unikitan. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Unfortunately, Illini have neglected to give me a pronunciation guide, so I apologize. Pardon me, the keeper was number 83. Number 81 is Gaitsevic in at beater. So Marquette will pass across to number 14. That's Quant. And it looks like they'll find 28. Couldn't skyhook it into the middle hoop. And Unikitan looking to get a little aggressive with the quaffle. He's got now just one chaser with him. It's Bocaria. And Marquette slow to put a body on him, and he scores. So the unfortunate missed shot by Raskowski ends up with a beat, or a goal, excuse me, a goal on the other end of the field as Illini pick it up and run, and the Marquette defense was certainly not ready for it. So now Howard back in at keeper for Marquette. He's been the lead scorer today, and he just puts it directly through, barely a scratch on him. Little spin move to put it in that short hoop. And I think that's got to be the Marquette game plan right now. It seems like Illini are creating pressure up top. They're able to cover those passing options that Marquette is not really able to connect with at the moment. I think the best offensive look right now is through Howard. It also does not help that Marquette may have had bludger control for all of 5 seconds this entire match. The score doesn't quite reflect it though. 80-60, Illini in the lead. Kathleen Rogers is she is dominant for the beater game for Illini. And it looks like a delayed penalty here as Rocher scores at keeper. Through that top hoop, and the delayed penalty, it looks like that will be a yellow card. Conferencing with the ref over there. That's Nick Collins who's receiving the foul. Collins asking for a clarification on what exactly happened. So the referees will have a little conference here. Collins getting a thorough explainer. So that penalty time more than likely will be negated by the goal because the goal happened after the penalty occurred. So Collins avoids the penalty time. Howard will start with the ball for Marquette. And now it is 90-60. Play will restart. Illini back on defense. Bludger control. Howard bringing it up on offense. He comes center. Waits for the beat. Drives to the left side. Spins as he does again. And that's another dunk through the small hoop. Marquette is definitely not out of this yet. And I think every single Howard goal has been that exact same move. But hey, if it's working, why change it?
No one's able to stop him for some reason. I mean, he is tall. That helps. I don't know if there anyone quite as tall, but you know, short beater can get in there.
Howard is the tallest player on the field, certainly. The strat looks like this. Beat Catherine Rogers out of the play and then have Howard drive to the side she's not on.
But beating Catherine Rogers is very hard.
O'Donnell blocked at the hoop. Mid-range shot, and it looks like there is a call for a stoppage on the play there. He tried for the shot. He blocked by Quant. And it looks like to be a third bludger violation, so that'll be a beater turnover, or bludger turnover, and Marquette will receive the bludger. So now, for the first time in a little while during this game, Marquette ends up with bludger control. McCahey in at beater. She put in a lot of minutes against Ball State earlier today in that victory. And Guy Savich, the other beater for Marquette. So we'll see how this changes their offensive and defensive dynamic. Or if they can even hold on to it. And it looks like they're rolling the second bludger back. It's a 1.5 play.
I've seen this surprisingly often.
It's an effective play, especially when you've got a big beater like Guy Savich. And so now Howard will try the right side, spins once more, and gets beat. And looks like there's an advantage call? Stoppage and conferencing once again. The stoppages certainly aren't helping anyone stay warm. Least of all us in the booth.
Hear that, Michael Clark-Polliner? Let the kids play because we're cold.
As they do say, let the kids play.
Just kidding. Michael Clark-Polliner doing a good job on this game, doing his job, doing what he's supposed to.
He is.
We're just bringing some sass because you can't hear us.
We're allowed to be snarky in the booth a little bit. We're allowed to poke a little fun.
This is the fun tent right here in the live stream.
And it looks like there was indeed a beater foul on the play. It wasn't just a beat. And oh boy, well, this is unfortunate because Marquette.
All three bludgers. I'm going to pivot this over here so you can see, just for our confirmation, all 3 bludgers are now on the Marquette side.
Yep, unfortunately, because of the beater turnover, because only one bludger is being possessed by Marquette right now, and the other one happens to be by Marquette's hoops because of the 1.5 play, the third bludger is sent to Marquette's hoops because of the turnover.
Not bad.
And so now all 3 bludgers are within Marquette's keeper zone, while all the other players are on the offensive side of the field.
Whoops.
That's a big oops right there. And, ooh, there was a bit of a high hit on that chaser. She took it like a champ. And we couldn't have just a moment of play, could we?
No.
An unfortunate play there as Marquette chaser gets blocked, but the high hit makes contact with the head and neck area. We want to make sure that these players are playing safe and being safe, and so there are penalties for this. Rocher arguing his case to the referee. We'll see what comes of it. Marquette ends up with the quaffle, and yep, it looks like Romaine is headed to the box. So if you're keeping track at home, that's 2 players in the box for Illini. Unfortunate. And Marquette, chaser number 3, will have a clear path to the hoop. Should just pop it through that top hoop. We'll see if they do. Unless Rocher decides that he's going to block it through the hoop. O'Donnell blocked at the hoop by O'Donnell. Unfortunate for sure. And now on the double player down, Illini will slowly but surely bring the quaffle forward. Now, if I'm Marquette, I press here. I send both beaters forward. I create the turnover at midfield and run for the quick goal. But they're content to stay back on defense, as they have been in all the games that I have seen them so far today. It's a patient defense. As Rocher will take the long way round, running along the end line. He's going to run around Collins, going to try and get past Quant. Ball ends up in O'Donnell's hands as he dodges a beat, and O'Donnell, the mid-range shot no good as he goes for the far hoop. He ended up blocking that beat by McCahey. think that's Makahi, actually. Pardon me on the pronunciation. Marquette maintaining bludger control as Illini now come back to full strength. So Marquette not really taking advantage of that power play. It's 90-70 still, Illini in the lead, as Howard definitely dodges a beat, spins to the other side. Nope, never mind, he actually was beat. Thought he completely dodged that. And Illini has regained bludger control off that one. And that's Crispo and Rogers with that bludger control for Illini. Marquette telling their team everything in the tank, and I mean, this is where you do it. As O'Donnell gets wrapped up by the point, that's Quasagro. Great wrap there, puts O'Donnell on the ground, creates the turnover, and now Howard's gonna run with it. He's got only chasers in front, and gets beat in the back. Crispo hustling back into the play. Woo! And that's great hustle by Crispo to get back into the play. Howard had that goal. And unfortunate for him, gets run down. Cold game under the lights as Illini bring it back forward. Rocher will take a sub. Marquette from the sideline calling for strong defense. So O'Donnell ball handling, bringing it up center. Over to Unakatan. Unakatan, perhaps? I'm so sorry. And that shifty movement able to get him a goal on the far hoop. Able to definitely dodge around the chaser. And Collins, a little confusion, dropped his broom. That's all right. Howard once again with the ball at center, bringing it forward. Illini with bludger control. Howard has been the key to the Marquette offense so far as he gets beat out of the play, passes it off by Quasagro. Quasagro shoots, no good. And Orange Quaffle as Quasagro was beat pass after beat. And it looks like Romaine is now down for Illini. So we'll have a little stoppage there. He's a little slow to get up, grabbing his knee. And it looks like the referee has helped him up, and he is going to hop off the field. Hope that he is all right. Substitute now comes in. So the pass after beat by Quasagro results in the Quaffle turnover, which Unakatan, I think I'm going to go with that pronunciation now. I hope that's closer. Will go to Illini in the backfield. So coming out of his own defensive half. Illini with a relatively short roster, you're seeing a lot of the same names appear again and again, but they're doing a lot of work. As Unakatan, he gets around the tackle. He's got shifty feet. Mishandled pass by O'Donnell. Unakatan running back to get it. Protected by Rodriguez as he's going to float it over the top. No good. Trying to find his chaser by the small hoop, I think. Seemed like a weird pass to make. And it looks like a stoppage there, and I think it will be a Quaffle turnover. We'll get the call from Michael Clark-Poner here in a moment. 16:37 we hear from the scorer's table. So just under 4 minutes to go before we have our intermission, and the Seeker floor comes up to see our Snitch in action. Still a tight game, still anyone's game. So it looks like Illini may have the Quaffle back behind the hoops there. Hard to see who that is. I'll get the name to you in a moment once I can tell. guarded by Collins and Howard, though, so she's got her work cut out for her in terms of getting back to the hoops. As a reminder, both these teams playing for a final bid. Looks like she's able to pass up to Nakatan. And does Marquette come away with it? Yep, Howard does. Strong arms and another stoppage here. That was Escobar for Illini, who had started with the quaffle and passed up. So once again, another conference. We will see what foul is adjudicated. I don't believe we took some time to discuss how Illini got to this point. Similarly, some close games yesterday, starting off with a victory over Bowling Green State University 130-75. A decisive win 210-105 over Iowa. A difficult loss to eventual champion Creighton, 205-20.
I thought that was actually a pretty strong game for Illini that the score doesn't suggest. I thought beater-wise they were pretty equal with Creighton.
That's good to hear. But unfortunately the score was a little one-sided. And finally, a relatively close loss to Ball State 150-120. As action replays here at the next stoppage, I'll tell you how they fared to get to this point today. As Howard gets beat at the top of the key, this is what Illini need to do, but Collins picks it up, and that's what Marquette needs to do. They need to not allow that turnover at the top of the key. So they'll allow Howard and Farrar to get back in the play, and they're going to run 1.5. And Howard driving right side. And that goal is good. The beat unfortunately misses Howard.
Another conference.
Another stoppage. It looked to me like the beat was aimed towards Howard, but struck their own player on Illini instead.
That's just friendly fire, right?
It is friendly fire, so I don't know why the stoppage. I guess we'll get the call here in a moment.
Kind of a sassy answer for why it's friendly fire.
And no goal? Didn't quite hear the reason why, but he's calling no goal.
Okay.
So our score will remain 100-70, as it has for a little while now. And Illini will take their time out. So looking at Illini's day today, played some tough games. They entered the bracket as the 7 seed, so because of their showing yesterday, entering at the middle of the field, lost an incredibly close game to Miami, 170-165. On the go-ahead goal, they had a bad pass, and as Miami turned it around, the Illini beater created a foul for themselves, beat a Miami player in the head, took the yellow card for it, and Miami went full bludgers ahead for the final score. Heartbreaker for Illini. Unfortunately, Michigan State pops up in Illini's story here, as it did for Marquette, losing 155-90. Then they played Bowling Green to win in a very close one, 160-145. And then finally falling to Michigan State a second time in the weekend, 130-90. So familiarity breeds close games, as that second Michigan State game was closer, but it landed them here under the lights for the final bid game at Great Lakes Regional Championship. One of these teams is going to be walking away with a bid to Salt Lake City, Utah for our championship next April. The other will have to play hard and hope for an at-large bid. Play restarted now as Illini bring up the quaffle center, and they have maintained bludger control once more. It's Unekatan. Pass to O'Donnell. Been saying their names a lot today. Unekatan top of the key, and now the beaters creating a lane. He passes off to Bocaria. Bocaria unable to put it in. It rimmed outside of the hoop. To me, Boccaria's got to put that elbow through the hoop. But hey, we're out here learning. We're out here having a good time.
Hey, one of you, come on. Jason left.
So Farrar and McCaughey in at beater as they try to pressure for Illini's beaters, and the shots seem to rim out. And unfortunate there. The shot rims out for Howard, unable to score. Marquette able to pick it up, but gets beat before able to score again. Just tough luck on that one. Farrar and McCaughey definitely put some pressure on Illini beaters that time. The lane was there, but unfortunately unable to make it work. And O'Donnell tries to pass across. That's Tosto that blocked that one as Unakatan, and he gets shifty inside and scores it. And there's a stoppage there. He just dodged that beat from our angle. That goal is good, and the stoppage is actually for the 20-minute stoppage in play, after which we will have Snitch on the field.
20-minute intermission at 20 minutes. We're not going to stop for 20 minutes. To
Pardon
clarify,
me, yes.
We could. This game is going along, and as you can see, there have been a lot of stoppages, but not quite that bad. Thank you.
Yeah, my phone. It's been charging this whole time.
Would you believe that we've been reffing and commentating and volunteering all weekend long, and perhaps we're misspeaking at the last game of the day?
We have been here off and on since approximately 6:30 yesterday, with about I think a 10-hour break in between. But what a thrill it is to be here watching college Quidditch. I find myself starting to feel some things as we're going through this last bid game to get here after not having any Quidditch basically for a year and a half. You know, MLQ kicked us off over the summer. Definitely got a lot of positive vibes here, but seeing these college players come back to the teams that they love, the teams that they're rebuilding, it just really hits you. You know, this sport, this community is so incredibly special, and it's such a privilege we have to be able to make these opportunities for these players.
Absolutely, and I would like to commend USQ for having a strong COVID-19 policy and keeping that in place and enforcing that, making sure that our players are safe, and that is the number one priority. I truly do appreciate that. So our Snitch getting ready on the field here. It is my friend and Northeast Regional Coordinator Christian Barnes. As the ball will start in the Marquette keeper zone, Illini coming into Snitch play with control. We'll see if that helps them out for a poll. It's 110-70. Illini with a very slowly widening lead. As the Seekers get themselves counted down, Howard moving stridefully up the field. And the Seekers are coming out. Looks like number 5 for Marquette. That's Kirkman. Haven't really seen him in this game. And he gets an early quick look, and Illini look to be defensively seeking as the beaters are playing in the Quaffle game. It's Unakatan.
Smart move from Illini. I don't know if I haven't seen this much at this tournament, but I feel like I've seen it at other regionals. Defensive seeking, so that it's okay if you catch the Snitch, but really it's because you have no beaters. It's just fascinating the way that set score has changed the game here.
Blocked at the hoops. Boccaria's shot no good as Howard takes him down.
Great defense.
Takes down the shot, rather. The only thing taken down was Boccaria's pride.
Oh.
That's all right. Unakatan kind of had a wild, gasping shot over the hoops to get it to him in the first place. And that's a Wishnu defensive seeking for Illini. She's putting in some great effort here as Howard. It's a spin move to the short hoop. Who could have guessed? Escobar. Great defensive stand there, and Unakatan comes up with it. He's going to go for a little run. He's got Boccaria in front. One person to beat, passes across to Boccaria. And that is a goal. Boccaria definitely skirts around the Marquette defender. That was Roskowski on the defense.
Matt, did you get what set score is? It is 180?
I believe it is 180. Illini came into the stoppage with 110. So Kirkman getting a little bit of time with the snitch, but Wishnu able to keep him at bay for now. Beaters still focused in the quaffle game. I think they recognize, Illini smartly recognize, that is their strongest asset right now on defense, as Howard, with the bludgers down, is able to just muscle through the defense and put it through the top hoop. I think Illini recognize they just physically cannot stop him, but the Beaters can, and they're going to try and hold on to this lead as best they can and focus on quaffle. As Unakatan, he scores going coast to coast in a sneaky sprint up the field. I'll call it a sneaky sprint because he stuttered just for a moment at the top of the keeper zone. Marquette wasn't quite paying attention, didn't really realize he was there, and all too late, they noticed him jumping and putting it through that medium hoop. Morrison subbing in at beater for Marquette along with Quant. Illini bludger control. And some high pressure from Crispo from Illini, pass off to Raskowski. Raskowski wrapped up, passes off to the keeper who's able to switch hands, and that is a good goal for Marquette. It's been a moment since someone other than Howard scored.
Wow, yeah.
So now Crispo takes some time and try and get Kirkman away from the snitch, and yep, he's not going to give him too much free time there. Just back him off by force of will alone, and also the threat of getting beat. Wishnu continuing to defend. Unakatan setting up the play, asking for Bokaria to set the pick. Not a good one. Kind of went to the side of him and then stuck his arm out and just hoped to catch his chest with a clothesline. That's what it looked like from our angle. And he's receiving a card for that one. Illegal contact, perhaps the contact was too high. Unakatan had the right idea to set the pick because Marquette is having some trouble putting a body on him. So if he can remain shifty and get around less defenders, he can keep on hitting these shots. Looks like illegal contact, grabbing a player without the ball, so that was the contact there. And so he takes a moment in the penalty box, and now Marquette has a power play. I mean, hey, at this point, you're down 40, go for it. Marquette will sub out their seeker as well. That's Geistovic. He's coming in hot. Wishnu doing her best to keep him at bay.
Dropped the quaffle. Thankfully, number 28 recovers it, passes it high to 83, who's not able to keep it. Number 50 tries to wrestle it out of their hands, but is back with the keeper.
Unakatan comes up with that one after a well-timed block, and they'll bring it up center. Rogers taking Geistovic out of the seeker play for a moment, and now Illini pushing high with their beaters, and a big pass over the top to Unakatan, and a quick juke move scores him there. Quick pump fake. And it looks like Illini, even alone with the snitch, is not going for it. That's a little bit of an odd move, I think. I don't know why you wouldn't take at least one or two goes, but still remains that they're up 50, so they're in a comfortable position, 140-190. They still got 4 to go if they want to win. And it is Tosto probing that left side, passing behind the hoops. It's number 50. She gets beat, and looks like Illini will recover for that one. It was a good move and a good pass, but unfortunately the beater was right there, as they so often are, as now Quant, and that's a behind-the-back tackle by Quant on Rogers. Rogers maintained control of her bludger after that one, so it looks like Quant is going to be sent to the bin with a yellow card, almost certainly. And that's correct, so she will take a walk.
Yeah, Christian, get those 2 points.
And that's probably the worst thing you can do as a beater when the snitch is on the field is get a card.
Not a great moment for Marquette right now.
If she would have just squared herself up and made that contact a little more to the right, it would have been clean contact and good tackle, but unfortunately, a little too behind the back.
That prep work, though, is super important if you want to avoid the card. And also do it safely. Contact from behind can be really unsafe for the other person you're tackling. That's why it's illegal.
Rogers rolled out of it like a champ, though, and they'll maintain bludger control, and Unakatan at the top of the key for Illini, Marquette defending. And they're getting themselves set up, this patient, preset defense. Looks like they're playing a kind of a more strict hoop zone now, as way over the top is Rocher to Unakatan, dancing, finds Bocaria, and Bocaria moving around the keeper, scores! That was number 83 on the defense there at keeper. And Wishnu continuing her defensive seeking stint as Crispo backs off the Marquette seeker. And now she's going to take a little bit of time for it. And Crispo just kind of having his way with the Quaffle players. Marquette a little unawares, just getting beat. And that's a turnover at the middle of the field. Rocher taking the long way round, running the mile. And he scores it, able to get around the defender there.
Wow, I'm so surprised that went in. Oftentimes when you have a player curving wide around there, they get forced out or they're beat.
And Marquette was practically looking at that glassy-eyed. They just seemed so uninspired to pick that ball up after the beat on the keeper. It's looking a little dire for Marquette's chances, but they're fighting for it. Their guy Sausvich is doing his best on that seeker. And, ooh, the shot by Quasagro was good, but it was after the whistle. So that's not a goal. Unfortunate. He'll get that ball right in the middle there, but it looks like the referee will be having a conversation with Rogers. I was told before the tournament that her power comes from her International House of Pancakes beater sleeve.
I
So now,
love it.
Crispo holding the bludger over Quasagro. We'll see if it can even be a scoreable quaffle at this point. We'll see how fast he can get that quaffle out. And it looks like it managed to get through the hoop.
With a little bit of squeaking.
Yeah, Unakatan trying their best to put that back through, unable to do so.
2 more goals for Marquette to win this, or a snitch catch.
Marquette has managed
Or
to...
Illini, excuse me.
Yes. Marquette has managed to regain bludger control, so I hope that helps their defensive prospects here. It's Farrar and Makaki on the defensive there. And Marquette playing that hoop zone. They don't want any of those mid-range shots being ripped, as that's Rocher.
Wow.
And looks like no good beat before, although that shot did go through the hoop, so I guess not as strict of a hoop zone as you could have had. As Quasagro, he thought about running for just a moment, but decides to pull up. Marquette still with bludger control. They're going to run 1.5 again, try and get something going. Howard's back in at keeper. A pass to Quasagro, who bounces it in off the crossbar. And that will continue. That is 110-160. Marquette showing signs of life. They're ready to fight for this. It's the final bid to Nationals. Who's going to get it? O'Donnell back in the game, bringing it up, passes to Rocher for Illini. Kirkman in at seeker, getting a little bit of alone time, but Crispo not allowing too much, as Wishnu still in at seeker for Illini. A little bit of passing back and forth. Rocher looking for his options. Marquette staunchly at their hoops. Howard cheating forward just a bit. Blocks Escobar. She fields the pass, but blocked right at the point by Howard. Howard setting up his offense now. And it looks like Illini have taken bludger control back after that little stint. It's Rodriguez and Crispo. Kirkman getting some time with the snitch. Pass over to Ruskowski. She gets beat immediately, and Rocher's going to pick that up. He's going to take a little jog. Looking at the one beater ahead of him. He's going to go wide. Blocks the beat.
Wow!
And is he going to move forward? Blocked by Howard!
What a block by Howard. Wow.
Stone-faced. Completely blocked. He's got long arms. Howard is doing it all for this Marquette team, both on offense and defense. Looks like he's got a bit of a limp. He might be hurting a bit as he's coming up the field. His beaters are coming with him. Well, one beater, Farrar, as they regain bludger control after that last play. And the dump off to Quasagro? Yeah, he gets beat over on the far side. There seems to be a little bit of confusion about whether he was beat or not. Unakatan now with the quaffle. They had the feed on the inside, but the beater was there. So Illini, 2 goals away from the set score. Marquette in the front back beater position, Farrar and Makai. Passing it to Unakatan after a drive to the near side, and his shot sails too high. Kirkman putting in some good muscle work on the snitch, just trying to power his way through Barnes. And now he gets another chance as Farrar gives him an opportunity. Marquette with bludger control as Quant comes in, and Howard brings it up center. He's calling for his play. Farrar with a missed beat as Howard drives to the right side and blocked at the hoops by Unakatan, hand through the hoop. That was a well done play there, and now he's going to run up center field. He's got one bludger in the way, he's got a few defenders, and now thinks better of the run. Illini offense setting themselves up, far side, O'Donnell.
I'm surprised that Marquette gave Illini space for both of their bludgers to come up here, but that happened.
And with beaters down, Unakatan driving in and completely stripped by Quasagro. Definitely thought that one was going to be a goal. Howard got in his face, and then Quasagro finished it off. And great work there by Illini to get those bludgers on the ground. They regained control after that one. It's Rogers and Crispo. And the beaters are really the defensive and offensive heroes here in the team sense. Howard driving to that right side, and he slams it home. And that is another goal, 160-120, still anyone's game as we inch closer to that set score of 180. Wishnu still in at seeker, and she is putting in quite the effort to keep the Marquette seeker at bay. They don't want them back in this game.
Which the snitch catch would certainly do that. Put a ton of pressure on Marquette, on Illini, on the Quaffle game.
Gasevic back in at seeker as Wishnu now takes her opportunity. O'Donnell passes far side to Rocher. Marquette regained bludger control after that one. Quant. Escobar fields it. She's couldn't find the small hoop there, and it looks like no harm, no foul as Rocher might be an advantage call as Rocher drives in, shot no good, and Romaine getting the cleanup goal. We'll see what that one was. If that was a good goal, there was an advantage call, so assuming it will be good. Might have been an illegal push in the back from the Marquette defender. So the referees will have a conference here. Rocher pleading his case. If this goal stands, it is one more goal. I said in the team sense on offense, the Illini, that Rogers and Crispo were putting in the majority, not the majority of the work, but they are putting in a significant and non-negligible amount of work on both offense and defense. But really, the shifty feet of several of these Illini chasers have been getting around the Marquette defenders. The thing is when Marquette can get a body on the chaser, the tackling is good. The tackling is solid. They're taking the ball away. They're stripping it. They are causing those turnovers. It's just getting the hand on them is the biggest problem. They've had a lot of fight in this game, though, and flowing their offense through Howard certainly has helped. As that temperature continues to drop, a slight cold breeze coming through.
Temperature has dropped 4 degrees since we started this game.
See everyone's breath on the field.
Yes.
And with that goal good, it is 170-120. No penalty time there. And now Howard looking on that right side, guarded by Farrar, and he's going to push the beaters back as far as he can, and Howard's going to take that short mid-ranger, and Illini with bludger control is going to come up the field. Could this be the push? Ball in the hands of Romaine. Haven't said his name for a little bit, though he did score that last one. Rogers cleaning up the seeker, making sure there is no chance for Marquette to be coming back into this, as Romaine looking at that near side. And with the beater down, is Romaine going to drive in? He's got 3 defenders in the way. And now the beater's back in. He took that shot to the far side. No good, unfortunately. And Wishnu continuing to put in work at seeker. She's gone through 4 or 5 cycles between Kirkman and Gay Savich.
What an interesting strategy right now. Wishnu using using their body instead of having beaters.
I think it's exactly the right call.
Yeah.
Illini, the strength in the defense is on their beaters. Unfortunately, they just simply can't tackle the Marquette chasers from a physical standpoint. The almost turnover up top turns into a near goal by Collins, and he pulls up way too early instead of running into the defense and just whips it. Skies that one, unfortunate for them. And now Romaine is going to take a run. It looks like he's got a head of steam. He's got Rogers in front of him. He flips it off to O'Donnell, and O'Donnell puts it through the hoop. And that call is a good goal. And if so, that'll be the end of it. No fouls by any of the other referees, and just a confirmation, and that is final. The Illini.
Look at Escobar.
Oh
my gosh.
They are elated. They are ecstatic as they have earned the final bid to U.S. Quidditch Cup here at Great Lakes Regional Championship. Congratulations to them. A very hard-fought match, back and forth the entire time. I think Marquette has absolutely nothing to hang their head about. I'm incredibly impressed with both teams, and Marquette, with their strong showing this weekend, I am very confident that they'll be able to gather an at-large bid, and they will be seeing us and you and everyone else in Salt Lake City next April.
Thank you so much for joining us. What a great fall season of Quidditch from USQ. We will be back in January resuming our events with Sin City Classic in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the meantime, there's plenty of Quidditch still happening, so be sure to check out our events calendar. I believe Massachusetts Quidditch Conference, Texas Quidditch Conference, and others are having events throughout November and December. So Quidditch is not over at all. So much fun to be had. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We are saying goodnight from Voice of America Park. Good night.